everybody, and welcome to Friday Night Highlights. I am your host, Maggie Reed, also known as Mermaid Mama Maggie on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I have an amazing group of people here, and what I love most is it is yet again female driven, and we are on top, and the men are on bottom. So I always love it when it works out that way. Sorry, guys.
I'll take it.
I've got an amazing group of people here today. So I'm going to start introducing them, and let's get to know about you, your TikTok page, or any other social media platform you want to talk about. Let's start out with getting shiggy with it.
Hey guys, I'm getting shiggy with it. I'm getting shiggy with it on TikTok. I also have a YouTube channel that I just started with no videos yet, but more to come soon. Getting shiggy with it. My YouTube is The Shig Show because we're going to have fun over there. And then I'm also getting shiggy TikTok on Instagram.
Awesome. All right. And so next time you're on the show, I'm going to have to connect you to StreamYard. Now that you've got a YouTube, so we can run the show through your YouTube as well. So every time you're on it, it'll be awesome. Yes.
Awesome.
And then next we have Jessica, the big weird mom, one of my favorite people in the world.
It's almost like you pick the guests who are on the show to make it female driven. It's weird. Anyways.
I we was a sausage fest for a long time on here.
Yeah.
It was
That's true. That's true.
There were so many shows where I was like, why are there so many men? I got to get out of here. Okay.
You can always tell when a man's in charge of booking. Yeah.
So I am Jessica, the big weird mom, otherwise known as the Parlor Martyr on TikTok. I am the big weird mom across all platforms, working on getting a YouTube up and running, obviously on Instagram and Twitter, but just continuing to bring you all of the crap from Parlor.
And we appreciate it. You go where no man or woman ever wants to go, and that is to Parlor. We salute you on so many fronts. Next, we have Empathy Tour. David, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, Maggie. Thanks for having me on. I'm David. You can find me on Empathy Tour, or my other socials, Twitter and Instagram, are under Integrity Act, all one word. I'm trying to change the world a little bit by continuing my mission of driving the country and helping homeless veterans. So, Brian, thank you very much for your service, sir, as always.
Appreciate that.
Awesome. And thank you for being here. And last but not least, Ryan Shedd, please introduce yourself as if everyone doesn't already know you.
Yeah, if you don't already know me, thank you for having me on the show, especially after the last couple of days. So if you don't, please go follow me on my YouTube. I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel. You can find me at Ryan Shedd. You can search me on Instagram and Twitter too. I'm pretty big there. So go follow me on those 3 platforms. I love you guys so much. Thank you for supporting me. You know, as I always tell you, I don't have this voice without you. So thank you so much.
And I appreciate all your voices every single day. You guys are a driving force in my education on TikTok, my entertainment on TikTok, and in my life. So I'm so happy to have you here. So let's get into it. We want to talk about something very specific to us right now. I want to talk about TikTok because, we all met through TikTok, and that is, a common ground that we all have. But there is a lot of crap going on with TikTok right now. And let's talk about it. We've got bullying, people getting banned, constant content violations, you name it. And it's making it, and low views. I mean, everything is just making it almost impossible for people to create, which is why we came to TikTok in the first place, right? So let's talk about this. And Ryan Shedd was just banned about 2 days ago from his main account. So please, everyone here, go follow him on his backup account, which is Ryan.
Well, the backup account's been banned now too. So,
Ryan, are you sure? Because I just checked.
Yeah,
it's
there. I can't.
I
can't post anything for a week. They already gave me a community guideline violation this morning and then locked it for a week. So, like I said, go follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, because I don't know if they're gonna give me back my stuff.
True that. Well, I think a lot of people are I think a lot of people are going to be leaving TikTok and moving to other platforms, especially because TikTok has become a place that snuffs out creativity.
Mhm.
They definitely don't want to pay people. And if people are looking for any kind of like, making this little bit of monetary compensation, YouTube is definitely a better place to go for sure.
The
Thoughts?
requirements are a lot harder on YouTube, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and if I could take a moment to kind of just tell my story of what I've gone through as far as that goes. I started doing Parlor Martyr in November, and I don't really go on live very much just because I have always known that it's so unethical the way that they charge their the watchers, and the creators only get like 40% of what the gifts are, and it always seemed like it was off balance from the beginning, so I never really felt like I wanted to go live. On January 6th though, obviously, I felt like it was the only thing I could do, so I hopped on for like 6 or 7 hours to I was just reading from Parlor what was happening. And it was crazy. I got banned 2 days later, and I had a crazy amount of gifts in my account that I hadn't cashed out yet because I didn't know how to do it. And obviously, after you get banned, all of those are gone. So that was a little funky. And the other thing was that, since then, they've been purging followers. I've been losing up to 500 followers a day. So I'm basically like slowly going down. I'm relying on my followers to share my stuff because the algorithm just isn't putting it out. And my backup account has been slowly climbing up, and I've been trying to follow the rules, only posting mom group content on my main account and keeping the political stuff to my smaller account. But it's like amazing that it has lasted this long, that I am still getting people telling me that they have had to refollow me several times, and that they just never ever see me on the For You page, and it's ridiculous, and it's unfair, and it has to be addressed.
yeah.
Absolutely. I've seen on multiple occasions, or I've talked to people on multiple occasions that talk about the people they don't see on the For You page all the time. They're like, I don't know who I'm seeing, but it's not anyone I follow. And even that, it's like you have to seek out people to see their content. Nobody.
For like my For You page goes like million likes, million likes, million likes, million. Sometimes it's just nothing but that, and it's what I get. Never content I'm interested in. Yeah. Like
I get all the rich white spoiled kids doing their little dance that No, I mean you look at the superstars of TikTok, and these Bryces and Chads and Blaines. I mean, I swear to God, all these kids were born in a freaking test tube off of Rodeo Drive. I mean, they started with money. They went to mommy and daddy and said, "Hey, can you buy me 500,000 followers so I become somebody in life?"
There's nothing wrong with test tube babies, though.
Not that kind of test tube baby.
What is the definition or the ETA of a test tube baby? Because I'm really lost in translation on the ETA.
Well, I am technically a test tube baby, so I have my two moms, and I had a sperm donor, and the sperm donor, and the magic was made in a test tube, and then it was put into my biological mom.
Okay, so let me rephrase from test tube baby.
Jessica's about to throw hands.
Honestly, I think you said it all just by saying their name, Blaine, Bryce, and that is what you really do see.
I live in Southern California, and I grew up, very fortunate compared to a lot of the rest of the country, but in my area, by no means had money. Mom worked 3 jobs. Dad worked for a crappy little newspaper. I mean, it was a tight budget growing up, but comparatively, I was still much, much more well off than the rest of the country. But I have vivid memories of my, sophomore, junior year of high school, with kids driving up to school in brand new freaking Range Rovers and shit. I mean, that's just the area, and that's the culture out here, is that there's so much old money. And of course, all of the parents are all, self-made. But self-made is like the newest marketing term for, basically didn't do shit in their life, but started with millions and worked really hard at it. I'm a tiny bit of a classist just because, I mean, TikTok's a great example of a petri dish of taking creators that work their ass off like all of you guys and build up an organic following and have a sincere, legitimate message to put out there, whether it be through comedy, through politics, or, you know, emotional, heartfelt content, and having to climb up the hill exponentially harder than these rich white kids that copy a dance from a poor black creator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
It
Absolutely.
really is symbiotic of our country and how things go with the middle class and the upper class.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not to drop
Anyone else?
the bomb on
No,
the
I
world
see
and the
that
state
kind
of
of stuff all
affairs
the
right
time.
now, but
Well, and I do think
you're
that you know, that's something that we should all continue to pay attention to is, you know, the big creators taking from the small creators, particularly the, you know, the black community, you know, they rape and pillage them, and then they don't want to give them anything in return and treat them badly. It's just
well,
like
then
you
they
said,
get,
it's
they get to
insane.
the point where they're too big to fail too. You know, you've got all these scandals out of these. I won't name any names. I'm sure you all know who I'm referring to, but these massive creators like sexting minors and shit like that. And
Yeah.
you don't see their accounts being banned or, you know, taken
absolutely
away
not.
because they're so massive. I mean, they're literally doing felonies, horrible felonies, and you don't see TikTok penalizing them. But you say, hey, maybe that cop could have used a taser, and all of a sudden you've got, you know, the world coming down on you saying, we don't want that kind of truth out there. Why don't you just shut up and dance?
Well, you know, well, and you know, I do want to talk a little bit more about this constant bullying and harassment that is happening as well. And that also, you know, leads to people being banned from their accounts, and how people kind of have this control where they can send people to go do things. And like, it's become this kind of like,
Mob rule.
yeah, online.
And I think it goes back to what we've been talking about on a lot of the podcasts recently too, is the Democrats' ability to organize and message versus
True.
the Republicans. And this is just another example of that happening. They can organize and mass report, you know, all of our accounts and get them taken down almost simultaneously. But the Democrats can't pull our shit together to do that.
Well,
No,
I mean,
because we're too
they're
busy
so
arguing with each other.
organized.
There you go.
They're so
I
organized.
wonder
They're actually
too, though.
sending people to pretend to be us to start this infighting, and then that catches on like wildfire, and you've got leftists reporting leftists left and right and things like that.
Yeah. I wonder how much of an influence TikTok has on that, though. And I'm not trying to start like a conspiracy theory over it. I am genuinely curious because I know a lot of us will go report one account with like CP or really dangerous misinformation or abuse, and it like rarely comes down, or it takes sending emails to executives for them to finally get it down. But like Ryan says one thing that is unpopular with certain people, and all of a sudden it's down. So it's just lately, those are the kinds of things that have been popping into my head. Like, I've had people stitch me and call me horrible things, and a bunch of people reported as bullying and harassment, and it doesn't come down. I call someone garbage, and it immediately comes down. Yeah. So it just makes me think, how on the back end are they flagging us? And what is their AI set up to do if they know that we're all Democrats or leftists or liberals or however you want to tag us? Right. And is it saying immediately take their stuff down and ask no questions, but Rihanna can say a bunch of racist shit and it's no big deal. Don't take her account. Don't take anything down from her. Right.
Right. And, you know,
well,
you never really hear you never really hear the Democrats, you know, shouting from the rooftop, my First Amendment rights, my First Amendment rights. You know what I mean? We don't go around saying, but truthfully talking about, you know, being shut down, being kicked off, you know, not being able to say the things that you want to say.
That's what's going on right now. And let me give you all some context.
Can I just say something real quick? Michael, are you there? Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I don't know how to work this.
Okay. Go under camera mic and turn on your camera. We want you on the show. I just noticed you're
trying.
here. Hi, Michael, you're here. There's always technical difficulties, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Well,
and
We'll
I
keep
just
talking.
wanted
You
to
work
chime
on
in
that camera.
real quick on Ryan's band. So I don't even consider myself a creator. I consider myself more of an advocate and a follower when it comes to TikTok. I'm happy to put out my content and what I've done in my life and what I want to continue doing, but mostly it's just good vibes videos of my dog to make people smile. But I'm very active on other people's content and how much I engage and who I'm following and the message and what's going on, and definitely sticking up for and fighting people that are being harassed, like that Damien douchebag. I mean, things that are just common sense, obvious, out of line. And people like my dude. I mean, he puts out great content. He's a political activist. But I absolutely disagreed with him on this Micaiah shooting. And obviously Ryan disagreed with the Micaiah shooting. And I think I commented on one of Ryan's posts. It was either on Twitter or Instagram where I said, if Micaiah had been a white girl that was being attacked by a mob of black girls and she swung a knife, the entire nation would be screaming self-defense in Micaiah's name. But because she was a black girl, it was a justified shooting, which those two words hand in hand, justified shooting, is just fucking stupid to me. Apologize, but unless you're over in fucking Iraq or something, you've got orders for a justified shooting, what in the hell does a justified shooting on Americans look like? That makes no fucking sense. Besides the fact, I'm a liberal, but I practice my Second Amendment. I'm armed. I'm trained. I've been through gun safety
the
courses.
majority of us on this panel are.
Like, we have a straight up gun safe in our house. That's how many we own. I mean,
if I would even venture to say that I'm more highly trained than the majority of these 2A fucking hillbillies out here that are screaming about the Second Amendment, wanting to shoot RPGs and shit. I come from a military background, both in the Royal Navy. My father was an OS officer, and on my mother's side, nothing but Marines, World War I, World War II, all the way up the train. So it's really not that difficult to subdue someone if you have to with a gun by shooting specific parts of their body instead of just blasting like you're playing fucking Call of Duty. Right. It's called targeted shots.
And let's make it even simpler than that. If you're going to shoot somebody to stop them, chances are one bullet's going to do it. And if you're a good enough shot, right? Yep. And if you're talking about what you're talking about, targeted shots and all that, you should be able to put somebody down with one bullet.
Yep.
Now, that being said, one bullet would have at least given that girl a chance.
Yep.
It would have at least given her a chance to make it. And that was not given to her. Like you said, 4 bullets I thought was excessive.
Well, what about this 10 bullets?
The 10.
This Isaiah kid. And again, it's another instance where you haven't heard.
Did another one happen that I missed?
Oh yeah. Every single damn day. Every single damn day. This guy's car broke down in a Wawa, a black kid. A cop gave him a ride home, right? Where the kid obviously lives with his brother or something like that. Okay. The kid either got into an altercation with his brother, it's unclear. End of the situation, he dials 911 for the same cop. I'm guessing it's a small rural town, to come back and pick him up and take him back to his car because he's afraid.
He was worried his car was going to be towed. So he wanted to go get his car.
Dispatcher calls the exact same cop that took him home, but reports it as a domestic situation. Cop shows up, the same kid he previously brought home, opens fire on him, 10 bullets, kills him. He was completely unarmed. They're refusing to currently release the body cam footage, and I wonder why.
Hi, Michael. We can see you now. Welcome.
Apparently, yeah.
Hi, Michael. Can you introduce yourself to everybody at home and kind of give a rundown of your TikTok page or any of your socials?
Hi.
Yeah. I've never used the camera on this laptop before. I had to actually charge it so I could actually use this laptop because it's I don't use it.
Well, welcome.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Just introduce yourself for everybody at home so they know who you are, and give a rundown of your TikTok page and or any of your socials that you want to talk about.
I'm Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
My TikTok page is utter chaos. So I don't have a bit. I don't have a thing. I say shut up a lot. So
Okay.
All right.
So somebody said everybody
Sweet
wants
short.
me to tell people to say shut all the time. So like zoom in and go shut.
Well, welcome,
I
and we are
don't like
happy
being
to have you on the
pigeonholed.
show. Right now, we are kind of talking about TikTok, but we've kind of moved on a little bit. Let's go back to talking about the shooting that just happened today, and we were talking about that and what is kind of happening around the world right now. We had a monumentous kind of victory this week, which was great, but then it was shortly kind of snuffed out by so many other bad things happening. Let's talk about the Chauvin trial, and some really great things came out of that. I mean, I think we were all expecting, we were hoping for the best, but expecting the worst, which says a lot about our country. It says a lot about the fact that we all didn't think that this was going to be a slam dunk, and we were very happy that it was. I know all of us are. But it could have so easily gone another way, right, guys?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm seeing everybody else's thing. Does it look like I'm coming in from the afterlife?
You're a little filtered.
I don't know how to fix that, so we're just going to go with that.
Okay.
Let's just continue the show.
That's it.
Okay.
So for
let's
me,
talk about the Chauvin trial. Chicky.
yeah, for me, I felt the same way that you just described, Maggie. Like, how sad is it that we all watched a video for a year? That video has been available, and it was still questionable of the outcome for the person who very clearly murdered somebody.
Right.
So that was really frustrating. I personally stayed out of the trial because I am not, if you've seen my TikTok, I'm not an empathetic person by any means, but I am an empath, which is an interesting contradiction for my own personality. And those kinds of things ruin me. Like watching that kind of stuff, like January 6th ruined me because I watched the whole day go down. I couldn't even join your live because I was like so overwhelmed and consumed with all the other stuff going on. So I had to get snippets from my friends, but I wanted to watch the verdict, and I actually watched it on a live, like I hosted a live, which was comforting. Empathy Tour, I don't know if you were on that with me. I had a lot of people
I was
on
flipping
it.
back and forth. Yours was kind of hard to see because you had the camera kind of at a strange angle or whatever. I was going through all of them, but I was right there with you guys, and believe me, I understand when you say you're not empathetic, but you're an empath, and that it's a lot of people don't realize to be an empath, to kind of take the weight of the world and the suffering and the hardships of others, the pain of others. It really weighs down on your soul and your mental health. You have to be an extraordinarily strong person to be an empath.
Yeah, and I think that's been part of my recent TikTok frustration too, is just every day there's something bad in the world. And then every day TikTok is messing with me somehow, which sounds so victim-y, but it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday was just an absolute horrid day for me with TikTok. And then on top of that, it's every day waking up to hundreds and hundreds of hate comments, death threats, body shaming, just like, and I don't take those things personally. So that's like the interesting thing. And I don't know if anyone else on this call is like that. If someone calls me fat or whatever, I don't think I'm those things. But to have to read it over and over and over and over again, it gets emotionally draining. And then on top of that, TikTok's not doing jack shit about it. So it's like, I report every single one of them. I got time. I will sit there and report your ass all day. So TikTok has a record of it, and they still don't do anything about it. So it is the same with the Derek Chauvin trial. Like, luckily, a lot of the disgusting comments that were coming through actually got flagged by TikTok with it. But it really, I mean, the racists were out in the daylight that day and the days afterwards. And it was just, I don't know, it was too much for me.
And you know what?
At
The racists have been out for the last 4 years. I've always said Trump didn't create these people, but he sure damn gave them permission to, speak their cowardly ass off on any public platform or even in real life that they feel like. And I've absolutely got no problem at all knocking out a fucking racist that is attacking or belittling anyone out in the streets. Put me in jail. I'm just going to say I was defending myself. I'm a white guy. I can get away with it.
And meanwhile, on Parler, they are justifying it. I saw several posts saying it's okay if you do believe that Derek Chauvin was guilty, but you still don't believe in defunding the police, or if you still don't believe in supporting, all of these, they were literally giving people justification to be okay with it, even though they didn't necessarily believe that, or they did believe that Derek Chauvin was a murderer. And, and it seems like that has given them a license to just go off the rails. And I sent Ryan a couple screenshots last night, and he was like, oh my God. I was like, somebody else needs to see this, because I can't even put it up on TikTok, the stuff that I'm seeing.
I put it on Twitter.
Yeah. And like, it's like this is giving them a ticket to be the worst humans possible.
Well, take a lot of comfort in the fact that not our FBI or NSA or any of our other agencies are keeping an eye on these people. Our post office is keeping an eye on these people, apparently.
Right.
So,
and they're all paranoid about that on Parler.
That makes me sleep better at night, knowing that the post office is out there keeping an eye on radical domestic terrorists.
That's hilarious.
At least they're doing something. They're not delivering my mail on time. I saw the package from the beginning of November that's still not at my house.
But I want to go back and talk about something positive. There is so much negative.
I'm going to need another drink for that. I'll be right back.
Yes, go for it. The thing is, there is absolutely a lot of negative that we have in this country. I mean, like I've said this before, this verdict, this justice for George Floyd was a start. That was, it was a start for something. And I think about his daughter, and I think about his family. And his daughter, once said, "My daddy changed the world." And, he absolutely did. And it was a tragic murder that we all witnessed. And by seeing that and it showing what our country is capable of, that absolutely changed the world. And I am so happy for his family and for his daughter that justice was served. But
watching that video of them react to the first guilty charge was just like, oh boy.
I mean, losing somebody is never easy, but losing somebody in that way, and for it to even be questioned by anybody. I mean, and the fact of the matter that, new evidence came out that it was even longer that Chauvin had his knee on his neck than we ever even thought. Even if it was just another 40 seconds longer, that's 40 seconds. I don't even think anyone could handle 40 seconds with a knee on their neck. Unacceptable. And so the positives of this is that there was something that came out of it. Chauvin was found guilty. And I do hope that this sets some wheels in motion. And I know that they're looking more into the police and police reform. And, I am happy that we do have the people in office that actually care right now, that do want to see change happen, because there are so many that don't.
Maggie, did they ever bring up a history of his complaints and abuse? Because I know there was that 14-year-old.
Yeah,
They're actually
looking
looking at charging him for that.
Yeah.
The 2016
But
incident.
during the trial, they didn't show a pattern of abuse.
No, but now they're looking back at it.
Because that's something I think that if we are ever going to reform the police, is something that needs to absolutely be looked at. Does this individual show a history or a pattern of abuse and complaints? And when the hell was their last psychological evaluation? I really think we need ongoing rolling psychological evaluations instead of just one upon entry of the police academy. I think it would help the police officers that are dealing with any kind of PTSD or trauma issues work out those issues instead of the union trying to force them out of policing. And I think it would prevent and protect other people in the future from possibly having their civil rights taken away and being hurt and or killed.
Well, have you guys seen that Driven Progressive posted today footage from I don't remember what it was. It was like a it was a warrior training or something. It was a guy who was like justifying, that how to prepare a police officer to kill somebody.
Oh yeah.
And it was, they were saying that when you prepare yourself to shoot and kill somebody in the correct way, you go home and you can deal with it, and it might even improve your sex life.
I posted that on Twitter.
He specifically said have the best sex he's ever had after.
And then the sickening part was he said this job doesn't come with many benefits, so when they come along, enjoy them.
And that guy is a nationwide hero among police departments. Like they all know him.
Wow. Here's another question. Police brutality in this country, racism in this country. What do you see as the best next step for our country?
I got the answer to that real quick.
Please go for it.
Maggie, Chris, Shiggy, I don't know your husband's name, but him as well.
Ken.
Jessica, I don't know your husband's name, but him as well. Ryan, your wife. Michael, I don't know if you have a significant other. Nikki, all of us, we just buy a bunch of land in New Zealand and build a big-ass compound, get ready for the end of the world.
I've got the compound already. You guys can come on over.
Sweet.
Yes.
She does.
You know what my problem with that is, man, is that my
fight. I don't see us fixing the problem here in the country. I want to fight. I want to fix the problem. I want justice. I want equality for all. But you got to admit, we've been fighting our ass off for years, for decades, and it seems to be getting worse. Sorry, Ryan. I cut you off.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I don't remember.
You guys don't even need me here. You just go, Ryan.
I don't remember.
No, you said my problem with that is.
Yeah, I don't remember. Go ahead.
Moving to New Zealand. Okay.
Sorry, Ryan.
Well, I mean, I know we can. I don't think we can just abandon our country at this point. And honestly, at this point, I don't think a lot of people want Americans around, and/or anything.
Yeah.
We can't really travel anywhere, anyways. But other solutions. I mean, do we think gun reform is the way to go, or, I mean, do we think police reform? What is the path that we need to focus on? Because, what's happening right now is not working. Anybody else?
I mean, I think I haven't done a lot of research on it, so I'll just be transparent with that. But what I have read, cities like Denver who are implementing and reallocating funds to more mental health professionals, and those are the people that are being called for domestic disputes. I mean, I don't even know how many domestic disputes in America turn into a cop shooting somebody, or injuring somebody. When if a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist showed up without a weapon and knows how to talk to those people to de-escalate the situation and actually understand what's going on, Denver is straight up proof that works.
Yeah.
My whole thing, and I don't have family that serve, so I'm not speaking from personal experience, but I do know some people that serve, it's a good old boys club, and they will fight to the end to not change it. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to have to be something forced, and I think it's going to be messy to do it. But someone has to be willing to step up and say, no, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to reallocate funding. And going back to the very beginning when Ryan was talking about, and he has been talking about the messaging, I mean, the Dems totally fucked themselves by calling it defund the police. Because that's not what it
It's
means.
reallocating funds, yes.
It's reallocating funds and looking at the budget.
And it actually helps the police officers by giving them less to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, in the case of it was a Michaela. What was her name? How do you say it? Michaela.
Makia.
Micaiah. Okay, it's Makia. That's it. In her case, you know, there was obviously a domestic dispute going on, right? And people being trained to talk to people before we even have to even think about shooting can be called to scenes. That's exactly what that means. You have somebody there maybe that can talk to her about calming down instead of them having to take brute force. That's the idea, because they're not trained to deal with a sweet 15-year-old girl. Like, they just aren't trained to do that. And we need to get people to be trained in all these ways, in psychological, in dealing with homeless people. I mean, they have so many things on their plate. It's a lot for a police officer to deal with. And I get that.
But it shouldn't be more than the bare minimum to ask for more than 9 seconds of watching a situation. And even if we are reallocating funds and, you know, sending social workers out and sending someone out who can de-escalate a situation, that's not going to happen nationwide. Right. But what can happen nationwide is that those police officers can get training to take more than 9 seconds before they're shooting somebody 4 times.
I have thoughts.
Go ahead, Michael.
I like, in situations like this where I don't have all the information, which we don't have all the information. One, I want to hear the 911 phone call that she allegedly called 911 to get help. They're trained to keep the person on the phone until the police arrive. So what happened there? And 2, a thought experiment. There are other police forces in the world that do not have firearms.
The UK.
So
they don't carry guns.
Why don't we do a thought experiment? Take the gun out of this equation. What would he have done? What should he have done without a gun? There's cops that do it with knives in other countries. Absolutely. Would the stabbing still happen?
You know what?
Well, there's cops in the U.S. that do it with white people.
With white people,
yeah.
Right?
Absolutely, every day.
There's cops that get stabbed in the neck and still tase a white person.
Yep, yeah. But I mean, cop pulls up. He's got split second before this happens, but he doesn't have a gun. It happens other places, so why can't we run that experiment here?
Probably because it takes more hours to become a cosmetologist than it does to become a cop.
Yep,
it's like that's what I was going to add on with what Jessica said, is the background, the requirements, the education. It's like for other professions that save lives, require or protect lives or serve in public office or whatever, there's actual requirements. And then a cop takes a 2-month training course and they need a GED, right? Yep. And there's like maybe a psych eval. And that's
psych eval and entering 800 hours of training.
It took me 6 months to become an EMT.
Exactly.
And I saved lives. So awkward.
Well, I mean, I think but that's the thing. I think we all agree that, more training, reallocating funds is a great idea, but will it happen across the board? I don't know. And we have to keep fighting the good fight, because it's sad when these things happen. And it's
the unions will fight it. The unions have too much power.
Yeah. You guys know Memnock on TikTok, right? Ola and how, like Ola or whatever. How do you do?
From Hawaii. He's a former Leo.
Yeah. He was messaging a friend of mine because she was asking his thoughts about the Ohio thing. And of course, his hot take was that it was justified. But he trained law enforcement officers for a career, and he said that I think it was Honolulu, tasers are required by all departments, but that they fought him tooth and nail for him to train them on tasers.
Yep.
They did not want to be trained on how to do something less than lethal. And like his words, they fought me tooth and nail. They would come up with any excuse to skip the training. A lot of the vets just were like, "Nope, this is how we're going to do it."
And all they got was 1 day per year to train, where they had 10 days of training per year for lethal.
And there needs to be better psych evaluations for officers, and they need to be more in depth. They need to be more frequent. You got 3 months to train an officer, and he gets put out in the field. You should be training that officer a lot longer in the beginning and constantly throughout their career. It shouldn't just be like, congratulations, you're a cop now, here's your gun, and be well, and then just ship them out.
So in my area in Southern California, I have some friends that are police officers, and they all had to start in the prison system as prison guards to be able to then be transferred to a department to become a street cop. And they have all self-admitted to me that it fucked them up in the head, because as soon as they, switched that role and went out on the streets, they saw everyone as inmates. Didn't matter what the hell they were doing before they even pulled someone over. They're literally eyeballing everyone as an inmate and thinking that they're constantly under attack. And it's totally a horrible way to have basically public liaisons out on the street. And first and foremost, that's what police officers should be, are public liaisons. They should be able to interact with the public without being on defense.
Well, here's the question. Do people trust the police anymore? Anybody trust the police, right? Ryan, go into that.
I don't think so. I did a video on that before I was banned, actually, about, I would hesitate to call the police because I'd be afraid that they might think that my wife was the one, or, God forbid, my kids or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, it's sad, because there are people that they don't understand that fear. They don't have that fear themselves, so they'll never understand. And that's okay. That's why I keep pushing. We don't have to understand everything about each other to support each other. If I'm telling you that this is a problem, this is a fear, and clearly there have been example after example that this is a problem, take my word for it. Stand with me, just like I'll stand with you if there's something I don't necessarily understand, but you're telling me it's a problem, I'll stand with you. Let's fix the problems.
Yeah.
And
I've had to learn that.
Yeah, and so have I. Growth is a choice. And we need to build the law enforcement in this country. We need to rebuild it from the foundation up. Like, we just need to strip it and forget it and rebuild everything. And we have to make mental health treatment a major part of the new system. It just has to be, even if it's, I'm not saying send mental health people into those situations with no backup and, that without somebody that's armed in case some shit really goes down.
Yeah.
But we need to have mental health people. And again, if they're going out and taking care of things in the field, they don't necessarily are going to have mental health calls every hour, every day. So then they go back to the police station and they start taking care of their fellow officers.
Yep.
And they start treating them as well. So it's a win-win for police officers and for the community. But the most important thing we need to remember is that the police are public servants, just like politicians are public servants. And both of those groups need to remember who it is that they serve. And I'm going to tell you real quick, and then I'm going to stop. What pisses me off, and this is where I think the biggest problem with police is that the reason I got banned from TikTok was because I put out a video. Somebody came after me and said, maybe you should try being a police officer. Maybe you should try, putting on the uniform. I said, I don't have to. I actually was in the military. I could actually pass tests to get in the military, so I didn't need the fallback plan. That's what I said to piss them all off.
Yeah, that fallback really riled some feathers.
And I'm like, if you motherfuckers can't take that, If you can't take me making that joke after you guys came and attacked me, you are not emotionally fucking stable enough to be a police officer in the United States. And then you guys and you mass reported my second fucking account today because you guys are pissed off again. So you guys, not just once, but you've come after me twice. And you motherfuckers are the same ones that will sit there and say, oh, you're coming after my First Amendment rights, my guns, my Second Amendment. You guys are actually fucking coming after my First Amendment rights.
Yep.
You are taking everything that I say and you're reporting me. It doesn't matter what it is. And you're reporting me because you don't agree with me. That makes you the fucking problem, not me.
Absolutely.
Well, they're the party of hypocrisy.
They want to be judge,
They
jury,
can't tell
and
their right from
executioner.
their left.
Projection and hypocrisy.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well,
Yeah,
the
that's the thing.
hypocrisy of, you
You
know,
motherfuckers shouldn't be carrying guns, period.
well, that's the thing. They support black back the blue when it's convenient for them.
Oh yeah.
And then when it's not, it's not. It's just they pick and choose what they support and how much they support it.
Now, I find it rather interesting the duality of it. We need our guns so we can overthrow a tyrannical militarized police force of a tyrannical fascist government, and then the conservatives are like, hey, we're being oppressed by the militarized police arm of a tyrannical government, and they're like, back the blue, like
No. Yeah.
Like
Back a government agency.
Like they're sitting there saying, we got to take over this government with our guns when it gets tyrannical, and then they have to pause to take a bite of the boot. Just, it doesn't make any sense.
They are the party
you're
of,
on the
of
side.
projectism.
Like you're on their side. Like you're on their side. You're one of them. You're doing the thing. You're doing the thing. You don't need your guns. You're fine. Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Read a book.
It's just the hypocrisy of it all.
Yeah.
And then they have the nerve to be like, you guys want
out everything you guys want to say. You want to be able to go to Parlor and, yell out into your echo chamber and all that stuff. But yet you have nothing better to do but to come after people like me who are simply trying to spread a message. You don't have to agree with me, just like I don't have to agree with you. But you know what? I don't follow you. I don't mass report you. I got better things to do with my time. Like, this is ridiculous. You want to?
We've already established they don't have anything better to do with their time at this point, Ryan. Go ahead.
Well, it's not. I don't even think it's just that. I think it's that they clearly don't see like the hypocrisy that they have. I have a screenshot from 2 days ago about somebody using God, and it's like they literally went against their own statement in the same paragraph. It's like, well, you shouldn't be judging, God's the only judgment, but you motherfucker shouldn't live here because this is a Christian neighborhood and stop being like that. And it's like, did you not read the first sentence you put there?
You know what? I think it's one of the best statements I've ever read in my life is there's no greater hate than a conservative Christian's love. And
I agree with that.
I have a video up about that. You guys should read the comments on that post. And it's because someone said, you can't be a liberal and believe in God. And I made a joke about it. And I said, oh, I must have missed the part. And here's the thing. I'm a born again Christian. I was an atheist and I became a Christian at 27 years old. I made that decision on my own. My parents did not indoctrinate me into believing that stuff. But I'm also not a part of a church because, and that's a whole other discussion that we won't get into.
Because it's a cult.
But
excuse me, sorry.
And so I just made light of it, like, oh, I must have missed where Jesus said that you must be a conservative. And it's funny because in the comment, the guy says, "Fuck you," as he's saying.
Right. Bless you.
Fuck
fuck
you.
you.
Can't be a liberal. And the comments are disgusting.
Well, those are always the worst. The worst comments are you get like these nasty comments, death threats, and you go to the person's page and they're like, God and Jesus, like I love, and you're like,
God, Jesus, country, live, laugh, love. Here's a
live, laugh, love.
Like, is this you, Christy, that just hoped that my whole family went over a cliff? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Yes.
How pro life of you.
Maggie, I was
dying
really
in a volcano.
surprised.
God bless.
I was really surprised, Maggie, that question didn't get more hate from the conservative Christians. That
you know what?
about,
They didn't push it out. That's why I honestly I would get a lot more hate if
a lot of views on that.
I would get a lot more hate if that people actually saw my content. So I guess it's a good thing. But
That's my struggle, Maggie. I'm like, God damn it, I'm shadow banned. And I was like, you know what? I haven't got a death threat in about 3 days. So maybe I'm okay with this.
That's like your notification. You haven't gotten a death threat. So
I'm like, maybe TikTok's actually just protecting me by not showing my content. I don't know.
It's TikTok's new mental health feature. They just go ahead and shut it down for you.
Well, if we're going back to TikTok, I did have I did a whole thing on, I was just talking about, AR rifles and how this is my opinion that I don't think that they should be in the hands of civilians. I don't think they need them. I think that
I agree.
But and it boils down to, the Second Amendment, like any other amendment, is an amendment that can be changed. When the Constitution was written, not everything was kind of set, like it was terribly written. That's why we had to write things into it to make it better, make women be able to vote, end slavery. Hello. And that was my kind of catharsis of the whole thing. They came for me and it was so brutal. I mean, I had more comments than likes because it literally just made that way to that side of TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I had to shut off comments, the death threats, the rape threats. The constant. Tomorrow is technically, apparently, National Rape Day, which is some fucked up thing that I didn't even know existed. Yeah. But this is the kind of stuff you learn on TikTok. But the threats that were coming towards me had me shook. And I would show my husband. He was like, "What the fuck? You need to get off this app."
I don't show Ken anymore. He gets so mad, rightfully so.
I don't show Jen.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, but I don't show him because I'm honestly scared that he will go find somebody.
Oh, and he will. He will.
Well, because I find them first. So
I will.
For sure.
It's not him you have to worry about. It's me.
Well, I mean, but these people have no scruples. These people have no scruples, and they are out there, and they are anonymous most of the time.
Yeah.
And they are mean, and they are cruel, and they are vindictive.
You know why they've chosen the AR to live and die on for that fight, right? It's because it is an efficient killing machine, but it's because it's a cheap gun. That's the reason. You've got all these rural town cheap ass motherfuckers that want a cheap gun, and an AR-15 is comparatively a cheap gun. That's why you never see anybody walking around with an RPG saying, "This is my Second Amendment right."
Well, from what I do want to talk about gun control in general, but like I get a lot of the comments of, "I want the same thing that the military has." Now, Ryan, what are your thoughts on? I mean, do these motherfuckers want to walk around with like a rocket launcher? Is this the kind of world that we're living in where it's like? And I came back to clap back at all the haters with a video with Ted Nugent. I was picking on Ted Nugent all week because
he deserves it.
Well, let me just tell you, he's gold. He's gold.
I wish somebody would stranglehold him.
He's amazing. But I came back with a Ted Nugent. I only got one stitch from it because nobody saw the video. But these people, worship. Thank you, girl. You one person, yes. But these people want like all the guns. They want every gun. They want rocket launchers. They want cannons. They want everything. What do you think about this, Ryan?
Well,
you were in the military.
Let me start with this. If you're one of these people and you want an F-15 or one of those type of aircrafts, I can build one for you. It would cost $15 million. I can build you one.
Yeah.
But outside of that, look, it's insane. And I'll tell you this: my best friend served in the Marines. He was over in Iraq. And I've had this conversation with him, and he definitely swings. He's like in the middle. He's one of the more in the middle people I actually know. And I asked him, I said, would you cough up your You know, he's like, he goes, I can protect my house, my family, my whatever with my handguns. He's like, I have a shotgun, I have, you know, plenty of handguns, whatever. He's like, that's enough. He's like, as long as I got enough ammo, he's like, I'm good. And it was like, it was that easy for him because he's like, I don't need it. Right. He's like, it's nice to have. He goes, you know, he goes, yeah, it's cool to have, whatever. He goes, but I don't need it. He goes, and if it was for the safety of our kids, like that was the premise of the conversation. Like, if it was going to make your kids safer and my kids safer, then yeah, I'll cough it up. It was that easy. And I hope that we can get there. You know, it's like, I'm not, like I keep saying, I'm not planning on coughing up my guns. You plan on coughing up your guns, Dave? I'm not planning on coughing up mine.
I got a 20. I got a 22. I got a Glock 26, and I got a 410 shotgun.
Point is we're not coming to
just
take
as
your
much
guns.
damage with any of those.
We're not coming to take your guns, but we are saying that there needs to be something that happens, something to give in this country, because you can't argue the statistics. You just can't. If you look at them honestly and you don't pick and choose what statistics you want to look at, there is a very clear picture of a gun violence problem in the United States. So I don't think anybody on this panel is saying that we have.
I mean, I feel like it's
no.
Yeah, I made a video, you know, talking about. I mentioned maybe a bunch of 20-somethings that were perpetually drunk and owned slaves. Maybe they just didn't get the Constitution right on the first try. And of course, everybody's favorite conservative Texan stitched the video and was like, so you called them a bunch of 20-something drunks. So you don't know your history. And I'm like, motherfucker, Adams was drunk before breakfast. Like, there's books on this.
Well,
and then he was like, he said they did get it right on the first try. They did. I was like, oh, did they? Okay. So say goodbye to your Second Amendment right, because that was a few years after. So if they got it right on the first try, you played yourself, you dumb.
Well, and the two things that we need to always drive home is, number one, the Constitution was not written by God. It was written by a bunch of men in a room, and likely drunk, like you said.
And you know, can I just say real quick? You just hit that on the head, Ryan.
Yeah.
Written by a bunch of men.
Yep. Because women did not have the right to vote. Because black people counted as 3/5 of a person. Okay, let's not forget the Constitution was fucked when it was first written.
Oh yeah.
It was not. It was
hence the amendments.
Thank you. You know, they didn't get it right the first time.
But those amendments are still being written and rewritten by men.
We that's because the Constitution is written to be a living, breathing document. It is written to grow with our country. That is the one thing they did build into it that was right. In the infrastructure of the Constitution is built a way for us to make it better, for us to grow as a country. The problem is that when you have conservatives trying to conserve their power, that they don't want to change the Constitution. They don't want to insert more equality into it because they want to conserve what they have, which is the power that was originally given to them in that Constitution.
Absolutely.
And we've got Democrats bought by lobbyists that aren't allowing us as a majority to change things. Cinema and Manchin. Yada, yada.
I mean, okay, okay. Yeah.
I get comments that are like, we need the Second Amendment because we have the right to overthrow a tyrannical government. Read the Second Amendment. I'm like, you read it. It's like one fucking sentence. It doesn't even say that. Are you dumb? Like,
well, let's all agree that the public school system has greatly failed a majority of adults.
I've got an older gentleman that I work
absolutely.
with. I've got an older gentleman that I work with, and the other day when I went into the conference room to make a cup of coffee, I was sitting there waiting for it to get done. He comes in, and this older guy sitting at the table, he goes, "Can I help you?" And he goes, I was just reading about this this vaccine stuff." And the guy goes, "I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. This vaccine, this is communism." And I'm like, how? Stop using words you don't know. God damn it! Stop reading Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweets.
So Michael,
I think we can all agree that they just parrot. They parrot. They don't look into anything.
It's, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
They don't want to learn. That's the difference between the two. But to go back to our further discussion is, I think that we are way more open-minded into learning and reading and researching and doing like normal adult things, but they are much better at convincing all of each other of one idea or movement, and they all just go with it. And they are stronger in numbers when they do that, although they are not open-minded nor educated. I'm not saying all of them are uneducated, but generally they are. And that's part of the problem, is that I almost feel like, and if you guys disagree with me, then that's part of the conversation, right? is that we're all so open-minded and willing to challenge each other and have varying opinions. It's almost doing more harm than good because we don't know how to use that to our advantage.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I
hear that.
I think that's a damn good statement.
Yeah, but I mean, they just throw around those buzzwords. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene had her little video a few weeks back where she was like, you know, this is communism or fascism, whatever you want to call it. It's like, those are different words for a reason. And then she called it then she called the vaccine passport or whatever.
Pardon me.
She called it corporate communism. It's like, those can't exist at the same time. You're a dum-dum. How are you in Congress?
So
Michael, we've talked about this. Hold on, Empathy. We've
ahead.
talked about this before on the show about how Republican messaging is so good because it's so succinct. It doesn't even matter if it's truthful. Stop the steal. Communism, socialism. They have these 1 to 3 word little blips that get into people's minds and infiltrates and just makes them see red. And then they just run with it. And our messaging is much more broad as Democrats or independents.
They were all raised. A lot of them are, the older. It's the older baby boomer generation that are training their kids in all of this, and they were raised on the Red Scare, the Red Menace, the boogeyman, and the commies, and like the whitewashing of our entire education system was like, dude, the commies won World War II, and then the commies beat our ass in Vietnam. So,
speaking of somebody that people call a socialist all the time. This week we had like the relaunch of the Green New Deal by AOC,
right.
And I don't know.
Which again I think is bad as far as the marketing optics. We gotta as Dems, we have to stop putting out things that the Republicans are going to counter with cast in light as a negative because they are so united. Things like defund the police. That's a horrible slogan.
Horrible.
Well, this week they were, AOC
Green New Deal, change it to the Green Jobs Deal.
Take green out. They're apparently very scared of green.
But
there was a lot of talk.
Put it in a way that they can't argue and debate. That's how we're going to win in advance. We have to do way better on our marketing. Sorry, go ahead, Maggie. Sorry.
Oh, is this my show? I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
No, so they've been talking about this week with AOC, and when she talks about the Green New Deal, I fall in love with her even more. She is such a queen. She is the kind of light I feel, and this is my opinion, what I feel we need in this country. Leaders that want change and are seeing it through. She has spunk and she's been through it. I mean, you think we get hate on a daily basis on TikTok. I mean, she gets it all the time, and yet she persists. She's a hero of mine. And this week was no exception because, she comes out with the relaunch of the Green New Deal and with Senator Markey, and it's got 20 million jobs. We're talking infrastructure, but they're also talking about how it's going to help with social injustice, and they attach it to all these wonderful, like, to ending these horrible problems in our country, because it's true. And she's been under attack because of it all week, and they literally have just been making fun of her, and it makes me so furious because everything about this deal would bring so much to our economy for the next 10 to 30 years. It would boom us in so many ways, create jobs, infrastructure, and the economy would flourish. And yet that's exactly why they don't want it, but they will do everything they can to make her sound crazy or make her sound like she's doing this for all the wrong reasons. And I'm so sick of it. And I can't imagine how she must feel with all the hate that she's getting. But I stand beside all of this because
she's strong as hell.
She is strong as hell.
Really strong.
I really hope. I can't really tell. Do I hope that she debates Marjorie Taylor Greene, or do I not want her to give her that platform?
She just agreed to.
I troll Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert on Twitter on the daily. It's a life goal to get blocked on Twitter by those two clowns. But she called Marjorie. She goes, "Hey, I just finished reading your 14-page Communist Manifesto." It's like, maybe you should read the actual Communist Manifesto before you keep calling everything communism.
She did agree though, Jess.
She did.
So they're gonna do it, and I vote for a live drinking game for how many times Marge says I think it needs to be like a bingo card with the keywords or something, or like we got to make it fun.
Can I switch the drink out for? Can I switch the drink out for something else?
I'd like to report a future
Absolutely,
murder.
Ryan.
I think it's gonna be great. I get where you're coming from. Like maybe she's not worth the time. I think she needs to just be straight up put in her place, and I don't think anyone other than AOC needs to do it.
But let me say something. AOC is such a powerhouse. When you hear somebody that comes after the powers that be, and she is literally like almost not single-handedly, but her essence is trying to change the status quo of this country. And that scares the shit out of people.
I think she already has. Well, coming in as a junior congresswoman and making such a huge spotlight on her, I think she already has changed the scope of the country.
Yeah, we need real progressives, and there needs to be an age limit. Like, I'm so sick and tired of being ruled by super old, decrepit Scrooge McDucks. Like, I'm so sick and tired. I just want a bunch of AOCs, because I tell you right now, I would wife her so fast, and I would stay at home, and I would cook, and I would clean, and I'd take care of the babies that somehow we genetically engineered me to have, so she could keep working and doing awesome stuff. And then when she come home, I'd be like,
I think that may be the first time proposal on Friday Night Highlights here, people.
So if
I
just
like legit, I would do like Junior Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'd just be sitting on the couch when she got home from doing awesome stuff. And I'd be like, dinner's ready, and she'd be like, I'd be like, does my body disgust you? Like that. I would stay at home and I would clean every day, every room.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah,
if I wasn't married already, I'd wife up AOC too. I feel you on that.
I would have coffee. I'd be up. She'd have breakfast ready. It'd be like a freaking smorgasbord of all the best stuff. And I'd be like, I got you fresh flowers, and here's your coffee. And she'd be like, thank you. And I'd be like, go be awesome, honey.
You got this all planned out, don't you?
Yes.
This is top of the head, but yeah.
Ryan, I wanted to hear what you were going to say.
I definitely don't have this.
What I was going to say is that, first off, I wanted to point out that AOC isn't the only one that gets that level of hate up there.
No.
Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Presley, Ilhan Omar.
Right.
They all get that
squad, baby. The squad.
And even Maxine Waters. I mean, it's not just them for it.
Oh yeah.
All the women up there, all the powerful Democratic women up there are getting like massive levels of hate. AOC's is, like you guys said, probably a little more than most, but they're all getting it. But in terms of the Green New Deal, I don't care what we call it. People need to realize that this is the way we're headed. There's a reason Tesla is taking off the way that it is. There's a reason I see more and more Teslas driving around. And at the end of the day, Texas this year should have taught us something about our power grids. We need to start not just taking care of our Earth. It's going to be better for that, but also the reality is that we need to get rid of fossil fuels. We need to get rid of the influence that all the people that control the fossil fuels has on our government.
Yep.
And that's one of the major reasons why they are so hesitant to move forward with any kind of legislation that's going to progress the Green New Deal.
Yeah.
But like you guys said, the thing we need to keep pushing on our side is the jobs that will bring. And not just temporary jobs. These are permanent jobs.
Yes.
Like those jobs that they were saying we lost because of the pipeline, those were temporary contract jobs. Okay. Right. These jobs.
Ryan. Millions of jobs.
Millions of jobs. you know, it was like 7,000, by the way.
And weren't they mostly like Canadian too? So it's like
that as well. That as well.
That's you're like this. They weren't even American jobs. These people are just.
Yeah, they came in and they were like,
"Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead."
Sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. So in the Green New Deal, these jobs are, most of the jobs being proposed are somewhat long term, and they're also proposing new training programs for said jobs. So they're even setting aside money to say, you know what, we're not just expecting you guys to not get training, you know, and just say, oh, yep, we're going to take away this sector and not train you on another one. They're saying, no, we're going to train you. We're going to transition you from your job now and train you in a new skilled trade that correlates well with what you used to do.
When I saw them, no, sorry,
go
Ryan.
ahead. No, I need to shut up. Go ahead.
No.
And they pay well. I just wanted to say those jobs pay so much better than
they are. They are saying they're demanding $15 minimum for these jobs, like that minimum wage of $15 for any of these jobs. That is a guarantee, pretty much, what they want to go forward.
And why the pushback too? Is it because of coal and gas and all of these jobs that are actually already doing mass layoffs because of automation that has absolutely nothing to do with the energy market? So why the pushback on transitioning and hiring people into this massive hiring sector?
If we do not get off fossil fuels, it's already killing our planet. Even the byproducts, the plastics, everything, it's getting into our waters. Men aren't going to have sperm anymore. I mean, the world is literally. Well, say goodbyes. No,
I'm okay with that at this particular moment. But
I'm not. I need to reproduce and pass on my superior genes.
But the thing is,
I'm good.
The Fukushima thing, that one caught my attention. I think it was this week that they're gonna send a bunch of the nuclear material just into the ocean. Like, yep, we're just gonna let it go. I don't think they have a choice, to be honest, because
you know why they did that.
No, I didn't go read it.
Fukushima's been leaking into the ocean for the past 13 years.
Yeah,
so for them to say they're going to send it in the ocean, it's like, congrats, you've got no choice. It's been going on for the past 13 years.
Yep.
All that is a big
another reason,
PR scheme.
Yet another reason we need to focus on other sources of electricity, of resources. It's crazy.
Well, the thing is, this is going to bring prosperity for decades. And I think that is also something that terrifies Republicans, knowing that Democrats would be, I'm sure they would find a way to make it about Trump, or Trump did it, or whatever. But, that's how they roll. But this would bring so much prosperity for infrastructure, housing, for undeveloped, not underdeveloped.
That's how my brain's working right now.
Girl, I don't even know. But but it will bring so much prosperity to places that, need the help. They're saying they want to help the places like Flint, Michigan, the places that are already behind when it comes to having clean water. They want to put them in the forefront. They want to go and fix these problems and then get everyone to move forward together. That's what I loved about hearing their press conference this week, because I thought it was beautiful that we have people that are standing up and saying, we need to do better for our people, we need to do better for our planet, and we need to do better for our job market, and we need to do better just as a whole country. And this Green New Deal really, can save a lot of things.
Go ahead.
People don't really understand, what survival of the fittest really means, and we don't really remember that this is still in effect, that the survival of the fittest doesn't mean that you're smarter, doesn't mean you're more educated, it doesn't mean that you're going to make the most change. It's that you are able to adapt to change, and that is what the conservatives are not able to do. They're not able to adapt to change and to embrace it, and that's why we see so much pushback with all of this. And at the end of the day,
I'm going to break it down even farther than that, Jessica. And this is going to sound bad, but this is honestly what I think. So I think it boils down to that there are a lot of people that feel, and granted, I'm going to say, I don't think this is true. If you're one of these people that this is how you feel, I don't think this is true. But I think there are a lot of people that feel like they won't be smart enough, or they won't be capable of learning the type of technology that needs to be learned for like windmills and things like that. You know, and the only thing I can say to you guys about that is there was a point in my life where I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do math past like algebra. And I can do trig, I can do calculus. I'm an aircraft engineer. It's possible. You know, they're going to put resources into place to make sure you're not left behind. And that's the message I hope we keep driving with this Green New Deal, is that they're not trying to leave people behind. We're trying to pull everybody with us. We're just trying to pull us in a better direction. That's all.
Well, one of the things they said was they were trying to rectify injustice. During that conference. Go ahead,
I've got one suggestion, Ryan. If you do end up making a bunch of F-15s for all these gun humpers, can you just make every button attached to the ejector seat and forget the parachutes?
That's doable, actually. Yeah,
like that's the start. That's the start button. Cool.
Yeah.
And then it's like shunk, and it just has a stupid sign that comes out that just goes shunk. And it's just a little flag that waves that says "I'm an idiot." As they go,
we don't need that.
And then cover it up so they all do it.
But that's such a good point to drive home, is that the people of America do not need military level grade equipment on the streets. Period.
Yep. Agreed.
I've got
Ryan, we've got a comment here for you from our friend Amp. Hello, American Moderate. Shout out to you. He wants to, I don't think he caught the beginning of the show, but he wants to know, when there's time, can you have Ryan talk about what he thinks he got banned on TikTok?
Okay, so what I think happened, and we already talked, so I'll try to sum it up quick. I think I upset a lot of police officers with my opinion on the shooting of the 16-year-old girl in Columbus, Ohio, and then they were all attacking me. It was pretty bad, actually. Like that was one of the worst attacks I've had on TikTok. So I took one that somebody said that I should go serve. I should go be a police officer. And I pointed out that I'd served in the military and said I didn't have to go be a police officer because I was able to pass the test to get in the military, so I didn't need the fallback plan. Apparently, they didn't like the fallback plan comment, and mass reported me, and then mass reported my second account today. So, yeah,
it's like I got into Harvard. I didn't need to go to community college. Thanks.
And we are going to keep fighting for Ryan, and we are going to keep emailing TikTok. Doing stuff on Twitter and doing whatever we can, because you don't deserve to have your account banned, and we got to fight this.
I appreciate it. I didn't think so. I mean, and I know I'm not the only one. I mean, there's been so many people, even just this week, who have gotten
Big Joe.
Every single day.
Medic. I mean, people that I love and know. It's unreal. So many people in 1 week.
Yep.
And Vanessa Douglas just got her account back, and I don't know how. I didn't talk to her about it. But Ryan, if you need the executive safety team's emails, I don't know if I gave them to someone the other day, but if you need them, I'll private message you.
I think
Victoria Hammett and Good Trouble both got their accounts permabanned, and they got them back. I know Good Trouble got his banned, and he got it back in a few days, and then immediately Victoria Hammett got hers banned.
Yeah.
And he made a video and reached out to her, and I can't remember what his advice or what he did was, but I don't know, might reach out to Good Trouble, because he said he went through it. He did a bunch of stuff, and he got his back. I just don't think
that there's a rhyme or reason. Let's be honest. There's no rhyme or reason why any of this is happening. It's literally sheer luck on if somebody does something about it. An example would be last week, I got a live ban because I had a bunch of white supremacists in my live, and I told them, if you're a white supremacist or a racist, and me talking about not being one of those offends you, then I'm talking about you. And they all mass reported me, and no one responded to my appeal. I did not email the executive board about that, because I was like, whatever. But I did send an email to support. No one responded. And then yesterday,
nobody ever responds.
No one.
Ever.
It's very rare. The only 2 times I've gotten something accomplished was one when Little Miss Lulu out in Colorado was harassing me. And I emailed the executive board saying she's making videos about me and you guys aren't taking them down. But anytime I speak about her, you're taking my videos down. I want her removed. She's in the military. I went the whole route. But I finally got her banned after emailing the executive board. And then yesterday, when I'm being sexually harassed and then banned from live, I emailed the executive board. And what do you know? Back on lives. So
Hey,
there's
by
just
the
no
way,
there's no
Shiggy,
rhyme or reason to the way that they do things because they don't have their shit together.
Yep.
Yeah.
that really pissed me off, that Lulu video. I got to tell you, I was like, I'll tell you, I was sitting right next to my dog. I was watching that Lulu video where you start
What my
crying,
update? Yeah.
where you start crying, and man, I was getting fucking bored. I was sitting there getting pissed, like, oh no, fuck this shit. And then I see you laughing and pointing up at her blank profile, and I'm like, man, that sucks. That really sucks. That got me.
I don't know. I've never gotten a ban of any kind, and my working theory is that it's because everything I do is awesome and everything I say is correct. So I don't know. Try
It
that.
means you're not controversial enough.
I pick my battles.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage. That's what I told Ryan.
You know
Yes.
what?
I pick my battles.
You know what? You know what? Don't worry.
Strategic
Now that he
planning.
put it out in the universe,
Yep.
the bands are coming, baby. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
Master
We
No,
all
I-
go
Michael's
through it. You're
page.
gonna get it.
I pick my battles. It's
You
strategic
can't say that
planning
and
on my part. It makes me super smart and also kind of afraid that I'm going to get banned. So
But here's the thing too. Again,
It's
going
mostly
back
just
to
cowardice.
there's nothing makes sense. It's like the Matrix. Just nothing makes sense at this point. Is that we'll get? I think it was Chasing Oz yesterday or this morning. Woke up to videos talking about I-4 and driving on I-4 and how horrible it is, and it was taken down for bullying and harassing a freeway. A fucking freeway. Who would have thought?
it had free in it. So conservatives were like, oh, the
That's
freeway,
crazy.
you ain't taking away my freeways, you socialist.
I always
And-
love when they oh damn, I lost it. Sorry.
It'll come
You
back.
and me,
It'll
Ryan.
come
You and
back.
me, our brains are
My
running
brain's
at the
always
same
like
level.
that. I try to hang on to something and then somebody will talk for just a little too long and then I'll be like, fuck, lost it.
Okay, I'll just like see myself out. Okay, back.
Yeah,
No. It's,
Well, actually,
Your
you
brain
guys-
right now,
You
your brain
guys,
right
we
now is
are
the equivalent
actually
of.
at the end of the show,
oh wow.
and I do
just got
want
here.
to go. Well, hey, I try to keep us to an hour and a half, and
I had to get my cut because it was ridiculous.
well, I appreciate you getting all snazzy to be here.
I wouldn't have turned my camera on had I not
Can
gotten
I
a
ask to
haircut
go
after
first
work.
because my tummy just so can I go first?
Yes, but yes, okay. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, finish
Please.
the show. Finish the show.
Well, I was just going to say thank you all for being here. You guys have been amazing. I love chatting with you guys, whether we're talking about happy things, sad things, things that make us pissed off like TikTok. I love it. So thank you for being here. Ryan, why don't you give us your outro and talk about whatever it is you want to push.
First, just thank you so much, particularly Jessica. You guys all took videos and did everything yesterday and got my second account moving for me. So thank you so much. With everything going on the last few days, I just wanted to drive home how much I appreciate all you guys. Particularly my friends and creators here, not just for having me on your podcast, but supporting me behind closed doors too. It just means the world to me. So with that being said, if you're here and you don't already follow me, go over to my YouTube channel and follow me there. You can find me under Ryan Shed on pretty much all of the platforms. And with that, I'll leave you, as I do everybody, with much love and keep fighting. And thank you again, Maggie, for having me on. I love you guys.
Always. I love
We
you,
love
Ryan.
Bye.
All right. Next, we've got Empathy Tour.
Just a pleasure to be here. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under Integrity Act or Empathy Tour on TikTok. And as serious as things get, just leave you with the note that all of these people, all the people I've met across our platform, the community that everybody builds together, it's a family, and it's speaking about truth to power and the harsh things that are happening in the world. But amongst this bond is a lot of love and a lot of kindness and a lot of empathy. And that's something I'm very fortunate to, especially during this pandemic, to have been introduced in my life. And I'm just very thankful for all of you. So.
Love it. And you're awesome. Next, we got Michael the First.
Funny story. Some guy was like, your username's stupid. You think you're the first Michael? And I was like, first Michael to get this username, dum-dum. But I don't have an outro. I just know that I was in a really bad mental state when I first got on TikTok, and that was about to be my last night. And then I downloaded TikTok and started scrolling, and then I found this community, And my very first video was just black screen with text saying I didn't even want to show my face. I don't even know. And then people started liking my singing videos and requesting those. And then I made one video and it kind of blew up. And now I'm just like, I'm better now because of you guys. So
That's awesome.
Glad you're here,
thank you
man.
for being here. Thank you.
I don't know how to kick myself out. So just, kick me if you want. I don't know.
I'll kick you out. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll take care of that.
Obviously, I'm a very computer savvy person.
All right. Next, we've got Jessica, the big weird mom. Thank you for being here, love.
Yeah, so you can follow me at the big weird mom across all platforms. My backup, which has most of my political content on TikTok, is just big weird mom. Same thing, we were talking about this. My family was talking about this the other day. I am really grateful for TikTok and how confident it has made me. And this is not something that I really expected to happen in my life. So I'm grateful for all of you guys as well.
Absolutely. And just getting shiggy with it.
You can find me getting shiggy with it. I also have a backup account because I frequently get banned on things. My TikTok my Instagram and my YouTube channel, which is brand new, are both linked in my TikTok bio. So that's probably the easiest way to find me. And I agree. I've met some of the coolest, nicest, most supportive people through this app, very unexpectedly. I think my first couple of videos were just of my dog because I didn't know what I was doing and I was bored. And then it just kind of snowballed. And as much as I hate TikTok as a company, I love the community that it's built. And that's probably the only thing that's kept me from not deleting my account over the last 2 weeks because I've highly considered it. But I really love the people that I've met. And it's just nice. And I will sign off with my quote that got me my first viral video.
Ooh,
have the day you deserve.
Yeah.
Also,
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
You're not allowed to leave. You're not allowed to leave. You jump, I jump, Rose.
We'll
All
see
right,
what
you guys,
happens.
thank you so much for being here for Friday Night Highlights. I am your host, Maggie Reed, also known as Mermaid Mama Maggie, on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. But before we leave, I'm doing a different kind of outro today because I wanted to promote something that I just launched today. I just launched a new clothing company called It's a Vibe, and our first line that's coming out is actually called Vaxhole, and it's for anyone that has been fully vaccinated or vaccinated with the coronavirus vaccines that are out there. If you are a proud Vaxhole, please share it, and 100% of all proceeds are going to UNICEF to help vaccinate over 2 billion people in over 180 countries. So this is all for nonprofit.
Amazing.
I wanted to do something good for the world, and the designs are boss. So please go check it out. So thank you, everyone. And here's my little commercial for that. All right.
Thanks, Maggie.
Bye.
Thank